Okay, here's another continuation. So once I got that oil assembly off, uh, man, it just opened up this area really nice. I was able to turn the shaft. I had to put the intermediate back in there to help me turn the shaft on this assembly here so that I could turn it all the way to the right and bring in this side, you know, bring in this side into the rack and then extend that side so that it's turned to the right. And then by doing that, I was able to slide the whole assembly out, as you can tell, out the tunnel. It came out through this tunnel here with the tie rod still attached. I didn't even have to take it off from here or move the alignment or the adjustment or anything. So there's enough room here to slide this thing all the way out. You kind of have to wrestle it, but it fits through the tunnel on that end. And then let me see if I can do this with one hand, but I don't know. So once I was able to bring this tie rod out of the tunnel here, here it is. Now it's on this side. And now I should be able to slide the whole thing back the other way and take it out of the truck, I think. Let's try to do this. I almost wish I had somebody helping me here. There it goes. So I'm wrestling this thing and it's slowly but surely coming out to this side. And it'll come out through the tunnel and completely out of the truck. One man show. Here's the shaft. This piece of shit. And then here's those upper fittings that also gave me some trouble. But check it out. Now I'll be able to clean it, replace these bushings, both of them with those new blue polyurethane. Clean all this out, maybe paint it. Like I said, it wasn't leaking. There's no issues with it. I just wanted to take it off and service it or replace it if need be. And then now this bridge is clean. I mean, the cross members, what do you call it? It's the rack and pinions off this cross member so I can clean all this area here. And that was my main objective, was to try to get all this area cleaned out and then treat it with that Corroseal and then maybe paint it and then put the rack back. And then while I'm here, look at this, all this room to access the water pump, replace all these pulleys, the serpentine belt, the timing belt, and the water pump. So all that's gonna get done along with the Corroseal and treatment and everything else. So it's coming along, guys. I'll give you another update later. All right, the main thing is that this puppy's out. All right, y'all have a good day. Hello, everyone. Merry Christmas. Today's Christmas Day. I'm really not doing much to the truck today. I'm just chilling here, but just wanted to show you real quick. I ordered a new rack and pinion, and it came in yesterday, as a matter of fact, right before Christmas. But anyways, so I ordered a new one, a rebuilt one actually. I think it was like a couple $100. And then these tie rod ends, one for each side. I figured I'd replace them both since the little rubber boot on the old ones kind of compromised. I didn't want to swap those over to this new rack. So I figured I'll put brand new ones here on both ends. And then I also got the neoprene bushings that are coming, so I got to take these out. These are the rubber OEM rubber ones. I'm gonna put neoprene, so I got to take those out. And those bushings haven't come in, but once they do, I'll replace them, get rid of those rubber ones. But anyway, so I'm making good progress. I worked on it yesterday. I was able to do the curl seal and then let that dry the last couple days, and then I painted it, and then I put the shield on both sides. Right now I'm working on the hub, on the bearings and everything on the other side. But take a look how nice it's looking now, man. It's like brand new. And I still need to put some more paint and stuff, you know, on the well, clean it up and make my way back. But I figured I'd just do this little area because I need to put the wheels back on so I can push the truck out of the garage and then pressure wash it. I'm gonna do the salt away and just clean all the salt everywhere. But I need to roll it out of here. So I did this whole area. The wheels should be coming back on tomorrow. I think I'll work on it some more tomorrow. But it's looking really nice. And you know, a few other things that need to be done still. But like on this side, I did the same thing. I prepped the whole, I painted and took care of this whole area here. It's looking really nice. And then I put this rotor on. I repacked the bearings. In the process of torquing down these nuts, and there's two big nuts, 54 millimeter. They have to be torqued and all that, except that I can't find the socket that fits it so I can torque it. But anyways, and then I'll be putting the caliper back on, and then the wheel and this side will be done pretty much. But it's looking magnificent, and you know, I still gotta keep going and then address the front. The rack and pinion, there's a cross member where it sits. I need to clean that after I do the salt away and coat it. So that whole middle area still needs to be done. And then it'll be a nice cross member for the new rack and pinion to go in. And I'm gonna try to wheel this truck out without the rack and pinion. The wheels are gonna wanna wobble in different directions maybe. I hope not. I hope it just rolls out straight back. But if the wheels do wanna move on me, I'm gonna have to move them by hand and straighten them out. But it just needs to go straight back. And then I'll lift it again out there, take the wheels off again, and then we'll do the pressure washing, salt away stuff. But anyways, it's looking really nice. I got the radiator, brand new radiator, brand new steering hoses. I cleaned up the spindle, what is it, the mid adjuster bar or whatever it's called, that connects the steering to the rack and pinion. In fact, that one's out here. I cleaned it up really good. I was gonna buy a new one if they were relatively cheap, but it turns out that they're not cheap. They're about $100. So I didn't want to necessarily spend $100 on this thing. So I just cleaned this one up really good and put some of that Coro-Seal stuff on it. Let me show you. And then I put that on this earlier today. So now it's all converted. All the rust, I cleaned it up really good and put Coro-Seal. And I just need to shoot it with some paint and it'll be like good as new, brand new. It's not bent, it's not damaged. Everything looks good on it. I cleaned all these little splines that are in there with a little file that I have, a triangular file, because I couldn't get a brush in there, but I was able to do that little file on each spline and then lubed everything, oiled it. Now this screw goes in with just my fingers, but you can tell it's all nice and clean, no more rust in there. And then the other end, same thing. All those splines. Oh, I got a cap on it. Hold on. Oh, I can't do this with one hand. Yeah, so we cleaned all these little splines really good. They're lubed, and it looks nice, man. And then it slides into the shaft up there at the steering column, and then this end slides into the new rack and pinion, like easily, without any forcing or anything. It should slide right in. But this will be probably the last thing I put in once I install the rack and pinion. But anyway, so it's looking nice. I need to paint this thing tomorrow, and then just put it aside for now. But it's ready to be reinstalled. And I saved myself $100. So yeah. Anyways, I'll keep showing you how this thing comes along. Taking that shaft off was kind of difficult. I had to wrestle with those splines and get it to free itself with the penetrating blaster thing, and just kind of let it soak. I hit it with a couple hammers, just some chisels, got it to break loose, and then once it broke loose, it just slid right off. But you know, it had some rust on it, so it was like rust welded. But it came out relatively easy. And of course, the one thing I did have to do to be able to access that and then free up the rack and pinion the other day was to remove the oil filter assembly that goes back in here somewhere. Once I removed that, this thing came out. And it's a whole assembly that mounts to the block on the engine. So yeah, I already drained the oil, of course, and then it'll get a new filter, Toyota filter. And then this sensor is the pressure, oil pressure, I believe, or it might be the oil temperature. Yeah, I think it's the oil temperature sensor. I'll post it on the notes below. It's one or the other. But anyways, I already ordered a new one. I'm gonna get rid of that one. It looks pretty old and rusty, and I think I punched a hole in it when I was trying to clean it. So it's got quite a bit of rust. And I'm just gonna be replacing it and cleaning this whole assembly out really nice, so it's like nice and new. Down there at the base where it connects to the block, there's that O-ring. It's actually two O-rings that sit around these two pipes, but it's actually just one. It's like a figure 8 type of gasket O-ring. It's not two separate individual O-rings. They're actually connected in the middle. So it's a Toyota part. I'll be replacing that as well. Because if you don't replace that one, or you try to put some of those individual O-rings, chances are it's going to leak. And of course, you don't want that, to install it and then find out that it's leaking, So it's better to just spend the $5 or $10, whatever it cost. I think it was like $6 or something from Toyota. So yeah, you just replace it. That's still the old one, but I gotta pop it out, put the new one in there. And I ordered it. It'll be here in a few days. So just the little things. But that whole assembly needed to come off in order to be able to push the rack and pinion out the tunnel that way. And then Well, actually, before I did that, I turned the spindle so that the wheels, if you will, were turned all the way to the right. So that pushed the shaft from this side in this way, and the one on this side pushed it out that way, you know. And then I was able to slide the whole assembly through the tunnel, and then this side of the tunnel just it came out because it was retracted inward, and it just came out of this side, and then I went this way with it and pulled it out the tunnel from that side, and it just came out nice and easy, all one piece, with the ends, both ends, you know, the tie rod ends on both ends. I didn't have to loosen those nuts. I didn't want to unscrew them or remove them or anything, because they're set at the measurement that I need exactly for the new one. So I'm going to lay them both side by side, measure them, retract them both to the far right on the spindle, turn it far right, so that the new tie rod ends are going to be exactly the same on both units. And then I'll be able to install it where it goes, just like that one came out. The new one will go in, and it'll already be preset for the two cups on each wheel, and then it'll fit and put all the measurements exactly where they need to be. So nothing's changing, and I might still give it a wheel alignment after it's all said and done. But technically, it drove perfectly straight before, and it should wind up exactly where it was before the disassembly. The measurement was from here, if you recall in some of the other videos, where the tie rod end comes out here, the center of this castle nut to here was 13 inches. So if I can set that measurement exactly to 13 inches, the wheels will be exactly where they were before, and then I'll just have to put that shaft into the steering column up there. It'll slide right in, like nice and perfect, and then just slide it down into slide the U-joint down into the spindle on this rack, and it'll line up perfectly. The steering wheel is perfectly straight. That's where I want it. I mean, that's where it needs to be. You don't want it moved. You don't want it moved or to move on you at any point. So it's not even locked. I just know it's straight right there, based on this piece up here, and the screw. The screw is facing up. I can actually get it from up here and be able to tighten that clamp once the shaft is in it, and everything's perfectly straight where it needs to be. It'll get squeezed in there. It's real simple, and you just tighten the screw on it, and it's kind of clamped like this almost, where it's got a split down the middle, and it just squeezes the shaft. So this one will go on the spindle. This is the bottom end, and then this is the top end. It goes into that piece over there. So anyways, it's coming along, like I said, and it's looking nice. Just want to give you an update and wish you all a Merry Christmas. All right, talk to you later.